Thank you, Pete. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I love when people say good afternoon back to me. It just gives me energy. It just makes me smile. You ever been in a presentation where I say, hey, it's good to be here, and then it's just like dead silence? Yeah, glad you're here. Energy, 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 tone of voice, presentation can make the simplest idea come alive. Where do I get my energy? What happened in my family? There's tragedy in my family. My mother committed suicide when I was 13. She had a mental illness, and yet somehow, I don't know how, it informed me in the most positive way. And that is, while my mother was sick and struggling with her difficulties, I was very aware of my two younger brothers. Now, any older brother will feel like the boss of two younger brothers. I think that's kind of a natural mammalian instinct to boss them around. But without really knowing it, I had this undercurrent of love and care. That if I could get my two younger brothers to not fight and not argue, maybe my mother would be okay. Maybe she wouldn't have to go away for a rest. In those days, we didn't really talk out loud about mental illness. We're at a really wonderful time now in this era. In our lifetimes, we've seen people embraced for their nationality, their sexuality, and to some extent their religion. Perhaps Jews are no longer forced to be at the front. Of course our problems continue, but I like to think we're making some progress in our society. And the progress for me, I hope, has turned from being really worried that people aren't getting along out of fear, and now wanting people to get along out of love and unity. So in a way, I consider our club to be a kind of family where I get to practice being the older brother, I guess, in some ways, but also being just a kid in some ways. And I think what family history gives us is a great legacy to bring out the best in ourselves. And I think, Mr. Toastmaster, that's what our club is all about.
Thank you, Rob. So next up is Mickey Kazan, who's the grammarian and has the word of the day. And as she comes up, I will read what she wrote. She said, my husband Max has an interesting family history. His parents were born in Baghdad, Iraq, and moved to Indonesia, formerly the Dutch East Indies. Max and his 5 brothers and 1 sister were born in Indonesia and spent the Second World War years there in internment camps. Thank you.
Is Dutch uncle. This does not refer actually to an uncle, to a real uncle, but it's a comment that would be made someone giving someone a severe rebuke would be called a Dutch uncle. And I think the etymology of it is that there were problems between Holland and England. And when Holland gave rebukes, it was considered something hateful. And therefore came this Dutch uncle. Comedian Jimmy Durante was known for saying, "Who do you think you are, my Dutch uncle?" So I thought that was funny. Anyway, I'm the grammarian, and so I'm going to listen for all so's ahs, ands, and things like that. So be on your best behavior.
Thank you, Mickey. Next up is Ecko and Pia, who's going to do the thought joke. As he comes up, I will read what he had to say. He said, "One very unusual and funny thing about my family is that the first male child became bald by the age of 30, but the rest did not." Ecko.
Thank you. Got my game time real quick. Yeah, so usually the first male son becomes bald probably by the age of 30, but then the others don't. Yeah, so my little brother has afro, my dad's younger siblings, they all have like their hair, but then I am 3 years away from continuing the legacy. So what I'm about to tell you, I would leave you, my audience, to be the judge whether it's a joke or a thought. There is 2 couples and a donkey and critics involved in this story. One day, the 2 couples set out to go to the market with their donkey. Whilst on their way, they met 2 critics. And then the critics looked at them and they were like, these people are clueless. They don't even know how to ride a donkey. The couple responded by both of them sitting on the donkey and then riding the donkey to the market. About 100 meters down the road, they met another set of critics. They also said, one of them shouted, "Wicked people, you have no pity for these animals. Look at you, 2 of you riding on one donkey." So the man, being a gentleman, stepped down for the wife to ride the donkey alone. 2 minutes down the road, they met another group of critics. One of them said, "This man, you're supposed to be riding the donkey, not your wife. Why are you letting your wife ride the donkey whilst you walk?" So the wife got down for the man to sit on a donkey. About 3 minutes down the road to the market, they met another group of critics. One of them said, "Wicked man, selfish man, how can you be riding a donkey whilst your wife walk?" So both of them got down and decided to carry the donkey. They carried the donkey on their head. 2 minutes down the lane, they met another group of critics. We started laughing, they burst out into laughter. "Stupid people, you don't even know how to ride a donkey. Why are you carrying a donkey on your head? Who does that?" So they just decided to continue the journey without minding anybody, but then ignoring everybody else. So this is what I take from the story. That first of all, you can never be able to please everybody. You can never be able to please everybody. And whatever you do, you will be criticized by people. So just believe in what you do, and then if you know it's the right thing, just do it without being distracted by criticisms. And I believe I'm trying to use the Dutch uncle somewhere. I'm trying to, find somewhere to where maybe the couple rebuked. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I thought it was a joke. You can decide whether you thought it was a thought or a joke. I thought it was a joke. So next up is going to be Bob Avalone, who's going to give a speech. But first up is Julie, who's going to do his objectives. You want to do them from the seat?